Hello and welcome to our review of Haze for the PlayStation 3. Now this game has had quite an interesting past. First it was announced exclusively for the PlayStation 3, then they decided they were going to bring it to the 360, and now it's back as an exclusive for the PlayStation 3. And because it is an exclusive for the PlayStation 3, this game has been receiving a lot of hype and a lot of attention. A lot of people have wondered if it could live up to all this hype. Some people have even said that it could possibly be a Halo killer. And to all those who wondered, the game is not bad, but it's definitely no Halo. The main premise of the game is set in the future. Basically, you are a soldier for a corporation called Mantle, which I imagine is like the Blackwater of the future, where the military is privatized, and this Mantle company basically fights all the wars. And as a soldier for Mantle, you are basically either helped or controlled by this substance called nectar, which lets you become a quasi super soldier. Although it's not really that great of the abilities it gives you. It makes you go a little faster, and the enemies kind of glow. Beyond that, it's really not that big of a boost. If you were looking for something like Crisis, where you have gained all these abilities from a suit, Nectar doesn't give you that. And I'm not spoiling anything when I say that halfway, or not even halfway through the game, very early on in the game, things kind of go haywire, and you start realizing that Nectar isn't this great drug that's, helps you be a super soldier, fighting these terrible people. It's more of a mind control type drug where, they're giving it to all the soldiers so that they can't tell exactly what's going on. They can't see the atrocities of what they're doing. And you soon realize that you're on the wrong side of the war. And although this is an interesting concept for a video game, Haze doesn't really deliver on a lot of the promise that this, puts out there. Like I said, as a Mantle soldier, you're supposed to be kind of like this superhuman soldier, and when in all reality, it doesn't really give you that much of a boost. And in fact, when you're dropped back to like a lowly soldier fighting for the resistance, you can plow through these super soldiers like it's no one's business. Either that's on bad AI or just a generic lack of design. The difference between being a Mantle soldier and a rebel really isn't that big of a difference. And it doesn't help either that the guns and weapons in the game are very generic. You have the typical shotgun, machine gun. And I'm not saying that you really need to get gimmicky with weapons. It's just there's really nothing that makes this game stand out. And the AI, like I said before, is really pretty poor. Guys will just kind of stand and look in the corner while you can just headshot them. So it's not giving you much of a challenge. The game just basically throws a lot of bad guys at you at once, but you can easily take care of them. The unique moves you have when you're a rebel soldier they're kind of cool. You can play dead, and Mantle soldiers can't see dead people. So you can evade through that, and you can kind of do this little roll thing, as well as create nectar grenades that make the Mantle soldiers kind of go insane and kill each other. But like I said before, these are not super awesome abilities that make you, really excited to play the game. And since this game has been delayed for practically close to 2 years, you'd figure that it would be pretty state-of-the-art at this point. Like, they really would have upped the graphics, made sure it had a steady frame rate, really made sure the textures popped and wowed everyone. But that's pretty much the opposite of how Haze plays. The graphics are pretty muddy, textures are bland, the character models are really poor. This game could have definitely benefited from using, say, like the Unreal 3 engine as opposed to the proprietary engine which they created for the game. And you can tell why it had been delayed so many times. Optimizing this must have been a real pain, and they didn't do a very good job. In fact, the game is supposed to run at 720p, when in fact it actually runs lower than that in downscales, and it uses the PlayStation to upscale it for your screen. The game also runs at only 30 frames per second, which isn't that bad, but it dips in some levels. And the fact that they had to downscale the graphics for it to run at 30 frames per second just shows how lackluster, I guess, the game engine really is. This game, to me, it just seems like at this point in a product life cycle for the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox, games should be getting better or more graphically impressive, better AI and stuff, and this game definitely takes a step backwards. The game does have some multiplayer that's, typical for a game like this, and you can play the story mode in 4-player co-op, so stuff like that makes it, it gives it some redeeming qualities, but not enough to warrant a purchase. So the bottom line for Haze is it gets 65 out of 100. If you want to learn more about this game or others like it, please click the link to the right of the description.